for being here. Hello, my name is Kevin. I go by KGart82 on Twitch and Instagram and YouTube. Instagram is where I post a lot of content, talking about my streams here, and I also post my VODs on YouTube. I've been a sculptor making toys and various other product for about 20 years, and my primary work is action figures. So yeah, Twitch is something I do for me, so let's just get going. So we've been working for a couple months now on Lady Frieren, which has been a lot of fun, so I'll bring her back over. Oop. She's missing her body. It's kind of funny. There we go. I think she might be missing her boots too. Yeah. So yeah, I've been working on her for the past couple months, and mainly right now we are working on the base. Let's get her boots back on. Nope, these are her old boots. There we go. So yeah, I've been working on the base. Hey! Oh God, what happened to her? Yeah. No, I was doing a little bit of work in between just on the base, and so I hid her feet and her legs, which takes her body. So that's what happened to her for that little bit. But hey, thanks again, Josh, for resubbing. I really appreciate it. You're my #1 guy. 3 months subscribed. That's really cool. But yeah, you were in last stream a bit, so you saw kind of what was cooking. Boom, for real. So yeah, you saw kind of what was cooking. I do like the pattern that's coming, and I still want to do more of that off stream. But today, what I want to focus on is the flower. So what I'm going to do is turn this into a brush called a Nano Mesh, and I haven't done it in a while, so I need to double check some settings. But basically what's really cool about this particular brush is I can add a bunch of instances of a particular object or piece of geometry to another object over the polygons that that object is made up of. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So what I need to do, let's go here and create Nano Mesh brush. It says, please select an insert mesh brush and click create button. Oh, hold on. So I need to create an insert mesh. The current brush is not as brush. No, escape. Okay. So I think I need to find a Nano Mesh brush or an insert brush. Let me click this again. Let's see. Please select insert mesh brush, then click create. Okay. So I need to select an insert mesh of some sort. I'm just gonna do the basic one. Now, let's see if this works. Create Nano Mesh. Did it do it? Didn't seem right. Let's see. Create Nano Mesh brush from the active insert mesh brush. Okay. Oh, so again. Okay, this is fun. Figuring it out. It's been a long time. Let's see. So I don't want to do it from ZModeler. I want to do it from, again, basic, create, insert mesh. Why is it doing this? The current brush is an insert mesh brush. Would you like to append? Oh, or create new. New. Okay, so now, and then from here, create Nano Mesh. Right? It's being very weird. I'm going to look something up real quick. Let's see. Create Nano Mesh brush. See, I looked it up earlier today in ZBrush. And the video seemed pretty clear, so I feel like I got it. See, start with an insert multi-mesh brush. Oh, maybe that might be what happened. Let's double check. So start with an insert multi-mesh brush. There. It's so weird though. Why would I want to do that though? Let's see, navigate to the brush, create. Brush, create, and it keeps creating these ZModeler brushes, which is not what I want. Let me try this. Let me duplicate it. And that should allow me to create a multi-mesh brush. And now will it let me create a Nano Mesh brush? No, it keeps doing this weird ZModeler thing. I wonder if I need to go to ZModeler now. I bet there's something weird like that. How have you been, Josh? Have you had a good week? See other folks are popping in. Hello, hello, welcome. Right now I'm trying to figure out how to do create multiple instances of this flower on a base that I'm working on, and I will be doing that shortly. First, let me go back to the ZModeler. Oh, it is there. Okay, so it's making it, but it's doing this weird thing where it's got the okay. I think there's been some adjustments on this since I last did it, and it's changed, and it's really weird. Let's see. Work is rough, and we haven't had water all day. Oh man, water company doesn't know what's wrong. I'm like, water is your whole deal. Yeah, seriously, dude. That's crazy. Let's see. Supposedly they found the main break, though. So hopefully tonight. Well, I am gonna keep my fingers crossed for you and the family. Hey, what's up, Adam? Welcome in, welcome in. Appreciate you coming in. I'm trying to figure out the Nano Mesh brush currently, and our wonderful friend Josh is having water issues, so that's not fun. All right. Let us focus on this. Let's see, insert nanopoly. Okay. So Nano Mesh, if I do the nanopoly, now let me see. I think now I go in here, insert Nano Mesh, all polygons. There we go. Hey. All right, so there we go. See, just small inconvenience, not like a real problem or anything. I mean, I'm sorry, man. Water is that's a big problem, dude. I disagree. I mean, I'm sure like for today it's an inconvenience in a way, but that's a tough thing to deal with, you know? And it's one of those things where I'm sure like it's great that it seems like they got the problem solved for now, and hopefully that will continue to be the case. But yeah, man, not a fan. All right, so this is cool. We've made progress. So now what I need to do is I don't want them on all sides. I just kind of want them on the top, and also I want them to go deeper into the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a poly group of the top here. Nope, don't want to do that. There we go. So that way it's all on the top. And then we're going to redraw them in. We're going to kind of try to find a size that I think is nice. All right, let's bring everything else back in. Maybe a little bit bigger. Let's have everything up. I think that's nice. All right, now this is where we can mess with the settings menu over here and try to get some cool stuff going. Okay. Let's see, random distribution. Oh, don't want to go too. Starting to chug a little bit. Let's pull it back. Let's see. Oh, I still did everything. That was silly of me. Okay. So I got to change my setting here. Polygroup island, so that way it's only on the top area. That's about the size we want. Okay. Now there's rotation, offset. Let's do offset of, I think Y. No, is it Z? Z, I think it's straight. Yeah, there we go. So that'll get it closer to the ground. Okay. We might still go back because I might want to divide this up to have more polygons to work with. And then the randomizer will probably have a little bit better of a time. Okay. Don't want to modulate the color. What does H-tile do? Oh, that's interesting. Definitely don't want to do that. Let's see, pattern. Let's do the randomizer again. Start to bring this up. And let's see what patterns does. I don't remember what patterns does, and it's not doing anything, so I'll need to check that out in the future. See, random seed. This kind of changes kind of like that. I don't like that they're overlapping so much though. Let's see, random variation in array. No, let's see, alignment. Alignment normal. Too short edge. No alignment. Align to random. No, don't want to align to edges or anything. Don't want to colorize. No, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna front. Yeah, the flowers will be part of the base, and I'll do some drafting, likely, in certain spots. And yeah, I'm gonna make the flowers now. Some flowers are gonna be part of different elements because I'm gonna want some of the flowers to go up these bits right here, just a little bit, and then I definitely want flowers flowing up here on these little wind kind of spindly things. So yeah, all those flowers, some of the, well, not all those, some of those might be attached like separately as small little bits that are tipped on, but anything that's on the ground, the base level, is going to be part of it. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've worked with Nano Mesh, so it's kind of fun to kind of mess around with it and figure it out again. Let's see, variation. Huh. Kind of spins it. Huh. If I go positive, it does this, and then when I go from positive to negative, it kind of like jumps and changes the pattern for some reason. I don't know why. You can still adjust the size. Let's see, fit mode, fill mode, constant height mode, clip border mode. Right now it's proportional mode. So let's see what this does. I'm going to mess with this. So fit mode. Interesting. That changes that size. Fill. So I still want to do that. Constant height mode. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, I'm not going to mess with that stuff. So show instances, placement, edit mesh. Don't need to edit the mesh right now. Let's see what happens if I do a little bit more distribution. I'm sliding a randomizer around, and this is just changing kind of the orientation of all of them that are there. I wish I could get like an even random distribution. But I think in order to do that, I'm gonna have to go back. So let's go back. This is gonna be a night of discovery. Okay. All right, so let's divide this up a bit. One more time. So let's go with this. I like this because this is going to give us a lot of flowers fairly close together, and we'll still have an opportunity to do some randomizing, but we won't have to do as high because we'll already have plenty in the scene. Oh, first I got to turn off lower subdivisions. Actually, first I'm going to step back. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to step this back. And we'll work with this one at this level with no lower subdivisions. And we'll get back to our Nano Mesh menu. And then we'll get these flowers on. That might be too many to start. Here, let's step back. There we go. Let's do it at that level. Delete lower, delete higher. Bring it in. That's better. Still a lot, but there we go. See, I did ask how Josh was. How are you doing, Adam? I know you're probably lurking. I know you guys are guys that make it in, but are lurking and doing some fun stuff of your own while I'm in the background. But I am always wondering how you guys are doing. It's nice to hear what's up in your world for me too. And anybody else out there. If you're new, don't be afraid to pop in and hang out with me and chat. So yeah, doing all right, thanks. Good, good, I'm glad. Hope you had a nice Saturday. Today, me and the boy, we went and did a Boy Scout activity in the morning with his troop and did some orienteering, which I don't know if y'all know what that is, but that's working with a compass. And we went to a park that had an orienteering course, and it was pretty neat. All the boys got to have a starting point, and then they worked their way through to find markers throughout the park, using their compass to get the direction and offset Z. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, what's nice about the troop is it's boy led. Is what we strive for. We want the boys to kind of run and manage themselves. And we had the Eagle Scout that actually made the course in this park was there to kind of guide them and lead them. So we had a young adult and who was a scouter, and all the boys, kind of go and do their thing, and all us dads were, facilitated, and we were there if we were needed. But it's kind of nice to just kind of let them go and do their thing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think all the boys had a good time. We had a good turnout. It was me and another dad kind of helped orchestrate this. So yeah, I kind of did some of the logistics, and then the other dad was the father of the scout that created the course for his Eagle project. So he coordinated that end of things. Let's see. It's good kids are still looking at maps and not just GPS on their phones. Yeah, well, for this, there was no maps involved. It was just like coordinates and stuff. It was a course. But we do work with them on map reading and that kind of stuff. Some countries don't have maps. I want to know what countries those are. What countries don't have maps? I mean, I don't not believe you, but I'm curious, like, are you talking about quote unquote equivalent countries? More sub-Saharan countries, or countries that have more like tribal land and stuff like that versus built up cities and things. Let's see. It's from a Miss America speech. That's right. That's what was part of that speech. Oh, I totally forgot about that. The contestant complaint. Yeah, she completely was like, that was pretty hilarious and sad. Felt bad for her. Clearly, not a fun moment for her. I remember seeing an interview with her, I think afterwards, and she was just like, you go blank up there. It's really hard. So yeah, I feel bad, but man, it did make for some comedy. Okay, so we got our flowers kind of distributed evenly now. Let's do the randomizer. And now that they're closer together, maybe we can fill it up a little bit more. That looks like a little bit too much. Ooh. It's one of those things where I'm doing the slider and it's gradually doing it, and then after a certain point it's not keeping up in real time to show me. So it's kind of hard to like judge. Okay. And it's gonna autosave. Cool. All right. Hey, what's up, Sako? ZBrush is struggling. Yeah, it is. It is. But, that's the fun part of it. So with stuff like this is a really cool feature that I like and I don't get to use enough of. So I was kind of excited to use it for this. And what I'll probably go in is I have a pattern now. Let me see if I can step this up just a little bit more. Because I liked where it was, but it stepped it down. Let's see, is that okay? It still feels like a little too much. Let me see if I step it down one notch. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to kind of randomize these again. I'm going to use the random seed to shift this amount of flowers around, which is going to be nice. And then from there, I'll actually commit and make this grouping of flowers its own subtool. And then from there, I'll probably bring down the poly count on them and then go in and manipulate them by hand a little bit. And I might make 2 instances of this so that way I can fill in some of the gaps really quickly. But let's use the random seed here, this slider, and see if we can shift some of this stuff around and see if we can get a grouping that is more desirable. And since it's a randomizer, it's just like sliding through until you see something you like and hoping you don't slide past it too quickly. Because ideally, there's a lot of coincidental geometry right now where there's a lot of overlapping of flowers, and it's not something that we can avoid. But if I can find one that does that as little as possible, it's just going to make my life so much easier. And I don't mind like the tediousness of going in and moving stuff by hand. But, you know. Let's see. That's kind of nice. Let's see, zero to see. The randomizer seems to like to make odd. Yeah, it does. And I don't know why. It would be cool if there was another like slider on here or toggle that would create less overlap. Because I don't mind like the groupings that it's doing, and it does do kind of odd trails, but that's not like too crazy. Let's see. Truly random distributions have distinct groups. Yeah, that's fair. But it would be nice to have like a little bit of control to say, yes, randomize, but maybe for this particular instance, do this or that. Like have a little bit of extra control in the randomization. And I understand that sounds like, oh, but it's not random. But it's like, yeah, to a certain extent. In art, when you're trying to create a piece that has maybe a particular flow or focal points and stuff, you want the benefits of randomization, but still have the control, you know? So that is something that I wish we had in this particular instance. And I thought there was like a way to kind of like do some stuff like that, but I don't remember. So let's see. Random. Close alignment. No, I don't remember. Does it make Polymesh 3D? No, because that just made another. That just made that. So go back here. Edit mesh. I don't want to edit. Maybe it's an inventory. One to mesh. Yeah, that's what I need. All to brush, no. Replace Nano Mesh from brush, no. Delete one. So one to mesh. Okay. All right, so now what we got to do is separate these flowers from this, and the flowers now are a 5 million poly mesh on their own. It's not going to be hard to separate the flowers. I just got to, they're all one poly group. So we'll split, unmasked. And now we got our flowers separated. And we'll reduce the poly count by decimating. How powerful is the machine you're working on? I imagine it's pretty beefy. I mean, it's one of the Mac iMacs, one of the more recent ones. I've had it for a few years now, so obviously it's like might be a little obsolete compared to what's out there now, but it's got a pretty good chip. And ban you. Thank you. There we go. Gotta love those bots that come through, right? Oh man. What I might need to do is go through and make some groupings, because I don't know if while streaming if my computer can do that at the same time as do the necessary decimation at the speed that it normally does. So let me try some stuff. This might break up some flowers, but that's okay. Actually, you know what I need to do? So, okay, now I know, I kind of got an idea what I want to do as far as getting this layout. So we're going to do this again. And this time, we're going to delete this. Go back to this. Let's see. Maybe decimate before the Nano Mesh. Yeah, so that's probably what I'm going to do. I actually had the original flower down pretty low. So let's look at the original flower. So this is at 20,000. But what I think I'm going to do also is I'm going to, because I have some multiple parts in here that are separate, even though they're all together. And I'm going to actually go to the original flower and create a boolean, which will eliminate a lot of that extra stuff that's in the middle there. So that'll bring it down as well. And then, yeah, I might lower it less than 20,000. And what I might do is, instead of working in the whole top, I might do it section by section, so that way the overall polygon count is smaller and more manageable for me, and I can control particular areas. So, but this is good. I've been feeling out the Nano Mesh thing because I haven't done that in a while, so that is good. to kind of go through that and mess around with it. And now I kind of have a plan for distribution, because I also don't need the flowers to be everywhere, you know? So let me look at something real quick. Dooby. And thanks for kind of spitballing with me to help me figure out some stuff. Right now I'm checking out a Twitch setting. Let's see. Okay, everything's looking good. Okay, everything's good on that end. And also, Josh, again, thank you for what you said, or what you did with the Prime sub, because apparently I'm 25% of the way to completing my next sub goal. So thank you. Okay. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Boolean operation of this flower. So now we have this guy, and if I flip it, you can see on the inside it's all hollow, which is nice. And it's clean. And I'm going to go to my decimation master, pre-process it. And we're going to see how low we can go. Let's see what it looks like at like around 10K. Polygons or points. All right, decimate current. That doesn't look too bad. We can probably go lower. Let's see how low we can go. Because again, these are going to be so small. A lot of this tessellation that we're seeing at this level, which I'm not even sure you guys will notice with the definition, the resolution of the stream. So you guys might not even see how low it is. So let's get it down to 5. I think I just entered that. There we go. Decimate current. Yeah, because even at this level, it doesn't look that bad. If we zoom in, so now you can kind of see what I mean, how it's like tessellated a lot. It's very triangulated. You can see the mesh doesn't look all that great, but in reality, this flower is going to be maybe like this at most. So you're not going to see any of that, especially in the printing process. So yeah, there we go. Hello, everyone. That is, by the way, any new folks that have kind of popped through and that are watching live, I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. We've been live for almost an hour. So now I got to make this a new Nano Mesh. So what we're going to do, got that like that. Okay, good. And now I know how to make another Nano Mesh. So what we want to do is go to I want to create a new insert mesh. and then create from there a new Nano Mesh. And now we're good. So now we can go back to our base. And for those of you that have popped through, that haven't seen, see, yeah, I'm guessing they'll be too small to notice. Exactly, yeah. That's a good guess. There we go. I do feel like my computer's chugging a little bit tonight. I don't know if you will, Josh, because your typing tonight has been something else. It's pretty beef. I'll notice. So I don't know. Maybe you won't notice. I'm gonna be looking now, of course. Of course you will. I'll have to send you the pieces because I'll be curious to see. Because I mean, I could print it. I know I'll do an okay job printing it, but you definitely have more printing experience than me, so I'd be curious to see what you can do with a copy of her, and to see comparably how your prints turn out. Especially because I think you use different resins and different printers, so that I'm curious about. So maybe we can work that out if you're interested. Let's see, I'd be curious too, because really I haven't printed anything that big. Yeah, that'll be a fun experiment for us. Excuse me. Okay, so now I'm going to make this into smaller groupings is what I want to do. So that way I can I didn't want to open that software. Force quit. Come on. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to do a different brush just while I'm moving this around, and I'm going to go through actually with the Z modeler brush. The regular Z modeler brush. There we go. I'm going to start painting, getting some different groups going. Okay. And also I kind of want to look and I think I want to do it based off what's visible here. Okay. There we go. But yeah, hopefully y'all have been enjoying this. This is a fun kind of experiment tonight, messing with some probably new tools for some of you that you've seen, tools that I've used in the past, but I haven't in a while. But for me, that's also kind of part of the fun. As I've said a number of times, the whole point about this is the whole point of me streaming and doing art and stuff is for me to get a chance to do my own stuff. And in that, I also want to challenge myself a little bit and push my limits. So finding reasons to use tools I haven't used in a while and brush off some old skills is always nice. Sorry, I'm moving my mic around, so hopefully that's not too noisy. Okay. So it's cool as I make these groups, I'm holding down the Alt key, and that's allowing me to kind of paint groups right onto the mesh to change the existing groups. And that's what that like white color is. And then I can release the Alt or Options key because I'm using a Mac. And that shows me the group color. And if I tap it again, it changes the color. So if I'm not happy with the color that I'm getting, which is kind of arbitrary, honestly, for me, the only reason I'm doing that is because it's nice to have a pretty distinct color separation. And as you can see, sometimes the color of the group that it automatically picks is the same as or close to the previous one. For some of you may not know, I don't know how many of you are Pokemon Go folks, but today was a big Pokemon Go event, and my lovely spouse and child were running around today playing that, and they're still like comparing stuff and talking about it, and so it's kind of fun. So you might hear fun conversations in the background of that. Let's see. I had an idea on how you could get more random spread. Don't know if it'll work though. See, I assume there are colorblind options in ZBrush. Kind of. And it's funny that you mentioned that. I'll drop a little lore for you. For a number of years, I was a volunteer at the Braille Institute, and I was teaching the deaf and blind how to use ZBrush. And it was a really cool time because I actually connected with Pixelogic, the company that owned ZBrush at the time, or created ZBrush actually, and got to work directly with them to develop that program. And what's really cool about ZBrush is there's a lot of customization. So to your mention, you say you assume there are colorblind options in ZBrush. There aren't colorblind options per se, but you can customize anything to adjust to your vision, which is something that I did. I spent a lot of time creating a bunch of different UI that were that followed the guidelines for television and such, as far as the color breakdown. There's several kind of like standard color combinations, and so I made several UI options for the students, going because I didn't know going in there are different levels of vision. And then also there are a bunch of options for just the size of icons and thicknesses of lines. A lot of different stuff that you can do to adjust and accommodate for a lot of different varieties of vision or vision loss. So yes, there is, but it's not like in a direct way. You can't find the colorblind settings, but you can customize and create them manually, which is what I did. And that was a really cool time when I got to do that. I still am in touch with a number of my students, but I no longer volunteer, unfortunately. I would like to do it again, but it's been a while. Saying a lot. I need to get over that. But I'd like to do it again. I did it for around 7 years, where I taught folks how to use ZBrush who were visually impaired. Several different levels of vision. I'll drop some fun facts for you as far as vision loss goes. And this statistic may be different now, but at the time, I believe it was only 10% of the blind population is total blind. So most people that are legally blind have some level of vision. So when we talk and discuss blind folks and their ability to see, we really need to give them a lot more credit and not go based off assumption, but base it off of what they let us know. So that was kind of my goal to start, was to give them options to work with, and then go from there. So it was a really cool opportunity for me, and I was really happy to bring a really interesting opportunity for that community to do something that nobody was giving them. People just assume those that are blind can't do a lot of stuff, and that's not the case. It's just, like most things, about accommodation. And that was my big purpose, was to make sure that I was accommodating everyone, and that was really, really awesome to be able to do and give them opportunities that they wouldn't normally get. But yeah, so there's a little bit about me that not a lot of people know. I do like to volunteer. I do like to do stuff to help people. One of my favorite things to do in life is find ways to support others and give them the tools that they need. Thank you. I appreciate that, Adam. I do miss doing it, and since I can't do that anymore, I have found other things to do to support people, and I am loving it. So we're almost done grouping. We got an ad break excuse me. And excuse me. I'm still kind of getting over my cough. It's pretty much gone away, but every once in a while I still get this tickle in the throat. But yeah, ad break's coming in just under 4 minutes. Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Brown. I appreciate it. But yeah, I like to find ways to support people. Uh, I like volunteering, though I don't get to do it much. And so since I don't do that anymore because of time and allowance through my job, they actually allowed me to do that for a long time. So I was very appreciative of that. They didn't have to, and I understood when they finally said, no, you can't do that anymore. But I wish I could go back, though I can't. And so I find other ways to do that. And my big way right now is, since I'm in this world of streaming, I have tried to find different ways to help support and back up. No, I don't know what other way to say other than what I've already said, because I'm not really helping them grow, but just find different ways to support and help other streamers so they can, achieve their goals. And it's been nice. And I have really appreciated the various types of support that I've been getting, mainly from you guys. So thank you. Always appreciated. Okay, so now we have this pretty Technicolor sphere. And because we have that, now we can go in and really start to mess with this. Now I'm kind of excited. Okay, so we have, let's get our new brush here. Let's get this to fill the screen, get rid of the floor, we don't need that. And we're gonna change this again, polygroup island, so we can go bit by bit. Oh wow, look at that, it's already sunk into the base about as much as I would want it to, so that's kind of nice. So now that we have this all kind of figured out, and it's small. Oh, ads are going to start in about 20 seconds. So I think it's just going to be me and Josh for a little bit. For everyone else, please stick through the ads. It helps me a lot. I appreciate all of you that are watching. It's been a good night. I appreciate the lurkers. Appreciate the folks that are getting their watch streaks. All right, so now we got this. Let's bring up our Nano Mesh menu. And now let's do the randomizer. And since we have a smaller amount, let's see what we can do. Hey! Thank you for the gifted sub to Suspicious Ravioli. I will be sure to let her know. Well, I'm sure she has seen. That's great. I appreciate you, Josh. That's awesome. Sus is a cool cat, and she is offline this weekend, but it'll be funny to let her know or hear what she says when she sees that she's got the gifted sub, and I'm sure she will appreciate it. I know I appreciate it, so thank you very much. Me as well. A kind viewer gets its sub. And I wasn't looking. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry. You do have the sub icon. I need to change that to make it like a little bit more apparent because I'm not used to the default ones. So I need to kind of make my own little sub badges. But yeah, I do remember, yeah, someone did gift you a sub. It was actually really cool. I think there was an anonymous gifter that gifted 5 subs, which was very cool. I don't know who they are. I could guess. I could guess, but they decided to be anonymous, and I will respect that and appreciate the anonymous gift. See, this is nice. See, since it's a smaller batch, even when I get it like really high, it's not chugging as much. So let's see. We'll do this. We'll do the random seed to see if there's. Ooh, I kind of like that one. Oh, dang it! Now it's moving too fast. This is so funny. Look at that. 3i. I'm seeing shapes now in there. It's good. It's ad break's almost over too. Wow, that went quick. Maybe I need to do it with the mouse. Five seconds till the ad break is over. Ooh, there we go. That's what I want. Welcome back from the break. Did anybody see any cool ads? I know Josh and Adam didn't, and that's great because they are subbed and I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, now I'm not going to do this with everyone, but I'm going to do this right now just to kind of go through this process. But right now, I'll do the 1-to-1 mesh, and then I will separate this. Split. Masked points. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do here what's fun is I can actually now go into polygroups. Let's see if it will do it. Auto group. So now all these flowers are individual groups. So it's going to be easier for me to like grab them and move them around. So my goal will be kind of to fill in some of these gaps. And then eventually I'll go in and kind of fix some of the overlap issues. I don't need to fix too many of them, I don't think. Only the egregious ones. And that'll also be pretty easy to fix. for now, I'm just going to shift around some of these flowers. And then eventually I'll be able to I'll take care of individual flowers and have them go up some of those other base elements. And it's doing its autosave thing again. Of course, because it likes to do that right when you're in the middle of doing stuff. The kiddo and the wife are, I think, making dinner right now for themselves. And sometimes that leads to little arguments. And I think I was hearing one right then. Because the kid kind of gets exacerbated with us here and there. But you know, such is the life of a teenager. I do not miss being a teenager. I'm definitely glad not to be one in this time. Because, man, there's some stuff that is rough comparatively. Now, I don't know how old all the audience is. I am early 40s. So it's been a bit since I've been in that realm. And yeah, it's just some of the things that... Yeah, 82 baby! Some of the things that just like are on the plates of kids these days is just overwhelming, to be honest. To be fair, and not that we didn't have our fair share of overwhelming stuff. But they're dealing with some stuff now that we didn't have to deal with until years later. Also, the state of the world right now is a bit more scary. I mean, to be fair, the Cold War was happening. But that always felt so distant, at least to me, as a kiddo. So it wasn't as like scary to me as it probably was. Where right now it feels like all the stuff that's going on that is scary, it's... If you are a kid who's kind of paying attention, then yeah, it's hard not to be freaked out a little bit. Okay. So yeah, I'm not going to do this all right now, but I kind of just wanted to go in and at least do one grouping to kind of get an idea of the look. So yeah. Again, there's a lot of elements in this thing right now, so it is chugging a little bit with everything in frame. You know, that was a big one, but there's been plenty of that kind of stuff now too, you know? I mean, in that kind of realm, our big influences and stuff were musicians, obviously. So Kurt was a big one, but we've had, you know, there's been a lot of loss in the YouTuber community and in various different communities, and I think that is kind of equivalent, probably on a smaller scale, but worse because you know we're connected to folks in various YouTube communities now, and the bigger names feel closer to us than folks like Kurt Cobain. Like, they were big influences. Like, Kurt was a big influence. He created amazing music that like shaped a generation. But we were connected to him through his music, where folks that pass in various ways in our internet communities, it feels more personal, and there's been a lot. So I think that is maybe the most equivalent that I can think of to that kind of thing. And it might hit harder for some people, not everybody, so it's more spread out and not as, like, you know, impactful on a grand scale, but it's a lot of little impacts and a lot of harder ones, you know. At least that's kind of how I'm seeing it. I have had enough time getting 21-year-old to pay attention to what's going on. Yeah, I did see that. I've seen some people posting that, and I'm still, there's a lot of like folks that I'm not connected to directly, but I'm very familiar with the figure report, and just seeing people post about that, it's rough, because it reminds you that life is short, you know. Hey, Wormy, I see you there. Thank you for popping in and watching for a bit. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you had a good day. It was nice. I saw you streaming here and there this week, and I was glad to watch you play some DVD. Everyone online kind of becomes extended family. Exactly, and I think that's why it's tougher. Like, Kurt Cobain was impactful because of what he created, and it made you feel connected to him, but, you know, in reality we weren't. So there was this level of separation where, yeah, stuff like this we are getting a lot closer to people that are like all over the place, and connecting through hobbies is very intimate in a lot of ways. And there's always that opportunity and chance that you might meet folks, like we're meeting each other and getting to know each other. So yeah, that loss is, it can be a lot. And I think that's the part that's hard, because there have been a lot of young losses. Like for us, it's still young losses because, you know, we're in our 40s and stuff like that. That's still too young to go. But there's still been a lot of loss in the younger communities, and that's even more tragic. Close to equally tragic. But it's just, yeah, I think you get what I mean. And I don't mean to go into this kind of dark tone and topic, but, you know, such is life. It's good to talk about these things and remember that we are connected more than we used to be. To kind of go on still a darker tone but a positive note, I've been talking a lot with various people, you know, because it's good to talk about this stuff and get it out. And there was a time where like Disney movies and stuff did cover darker topics, and have a darker tone. They weren't afraid to tackle stuff like death or really sad things. And then we got into an era where animation kind of avoided the harder topics, and everything was really sanitized because there was the worry of offending or scaring children or families. But now it does feel like maybe in the past like 5 to 10 years, animation has been getting back to addressing harder topics, more emotional situations. And I think that's really good, because pretending like that stuff doesn't exist is silly. And also there's good storytelling in there, and emotional storytelling. I mean, to be fair, Pixar's been doing it from kind of like the beginning, rocking us in the first 10 minutes. So that, but even then, like some of their earlier films still had like kind of like a sanitized across the board nature. But let's talk about one of my favorite films now that I was hyper fixated on for a long time, K-pop Demon Hunters. A lot of people died in that movie. Like a lot of people. And they kind of gloss over it, but it becomes very clear that when those folks get their souls taken, they're likely not coming back unless they do something in the next film. But in this film, as far as we know, their soul's gone, they're gone. And they did it kind of in sneaky ways too, because there were some times where in previous movies, if they did something like that, they would probably just kind of pick random characters to show unless they really needed to like be impactful. But something that I've noticed, having watched the film probably hundreds of times at this point in various ways, is they showed a lot of these incidental characters throughout the beginning of the film, and then at the point where they started taking out a lot of incidental characters, they were recognizable. It was characters that you've already seen in like little moments throughout the film, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know all these characters that they're killing. And it's pretty bold and pretty cool move, honestly. Kudos to them, because yeah. Oop. Actually, I kind of like that one. That one's pretty cool. Let's see, let's bring back the stuff. All right, now I said I wouldn't do that, what I did with that other one, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to try to populate each of these quicker. Let's say 1-to-1 mesh, and we will split masked points. So we're going to try to keep all the flower groupings above this on my list. Okay. Here we go. What was I thinking? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to take off solo mode because it does make it a little clearer to add the flowers, but I do want to at least drag them in a way where I can kind of match the existing flower. And it's hard to do otherwise. There we go. And then we hide it again to do this part. And one more time, I just want to thank all of you for hanging out. As ZBrush does funny things. There we go. Okay, so ZBrush sometimes does this thing. It's called expose, and you can actually kind of explode the model by separating it into all of its individual subtools. And since this thing's been chugging a little bit tonight, some of my clicks have accidentally clicked onto that. It's kind of funny. All right, let's see, Nano Mesh, there we go. All right, now we're just gonna wash, rinse, and repeat. The whole flower randomization thing to continue to populate. There we go. The crash button. I had to remove that from my UI. Now I forgot. Do you use Blender more, Adam? I mean, we probably talked about this last time, but this is just how much I remember sometimes from stream to stream, week to week, what you actually use. I know you're somewhat familiar with ZBrush, but I don't remember if you are also a user. Let's see. Not really. ZBrush mode. Okay, cool. Good to know. I will need to remember that for when we talk about stuff. So, but yeah, so I guess you call the expose button the crash button. I've not had an instance yet where I've clicked it and it's like crashed. And I'm thankful for that. All my crashes are just like random. Usually it's when I'm doing something with the Z modeler brush and it could be the simplest move and there's not much happening on screen and I just like tap a particular point and all of a sudden the screen goes blank. Goes back to like the desktop view as the application is just closed. All right, random seed. Let's see, move you around. Ooh, that one's kind of nice. Yeah, okay, I'll keep that one. All right, so then we go 1 to 1. Like I said, the wash, rinse, and repeat. Split masked points. And go back down. And then every once in a while we click on solo to see where we are. See, probably hasn't crashed it, but slows it down for sure. Yeah, for that like split amount of time, it definitely slows it down because it's just shifting a bunch of things at the same time at various subdivision levels, and it is such a weird button, and I probably should remove it too. Because usually when I do like an explode or anything, I either do it manually, or what I like to do is I just highlight each individual subtool that I've processed and then go into solo mode and I just capture the image of it and then go to the next tool and just like shift around until I've filled the page with all the different tools instead of doing it all at once, because the way it does it all at once doesn't like keep the parts close to corresponding parts, and it's just not a very good application of it, I think. But it is what it is. I don't use it. It just gets in the way. I think you make a good point. Oh, you did say something earlier, and I kind of glossed over it, about you had an idea for the randomization. And I know I'm already in the middle of like my process, but what was it that you were saying that you had thought of? Because I definitely want to know. I do enjoy kind of the collaborative nature of this, because I'm here to learn too. Like I want to share knowledge as much as possible for folks that are interested, give you a place to explore and ask questions. But man, if you know something or if you got ideas, I'm here to learn just as much as anybody else. This is a collaborative stream for sure. All right, let's open up the Nano Mesh menu again and start randomizing. There we go. See, now we're getting a little bit faster each time. Split. Mask. masked points. Uh-oh. That's not what I wanted to do. Delete this. I think I forgot to do the one-to-one in the Nano Mesh. One-to-mesh. There we go. Heh. Let's see. Now we'll do it. Split to mask. Split mask points. Go down. All right. Let's see. I thought you could use Sculptress Pro with the large brush to turn the geo into random triangles. Maybe you'd have less overlap. I kind of see what you're saying, like going in and kind of using the Sculptress to kind of smooth it out and blend it together to get rid of the overlap. Yeah, I think that'll be helpful in some areas, in other areas not so much. So it's definitely something that I'll keep in mind. I have used techniques like that in the past for different things, but to use it in this situation might be pretty good, because I can probably get rid of some of the overlap and then resculpt in minimally. So yeah, I like it. It's a good suggestion. Thank you. Oop, there we go. Yeah, the only thing with that, doing a large brush, I don't want to lose the flowers completely, and I think it would blast them out a little bit too much. And that's the only thing I think that would not work so well with that. So let's do a test, actually. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do everything. Of course there are. That's another fun thing that I like about this software in particular, is there's just so many options available. Let's test your theory and see some of the stuff. So we'll do our randomization here. There we go. Oh, no, I almost had it. There's one really good one. That one. I like that one. All right, so now we're going to do, we're still going to continue on and separate this. And then we'll do a little test. So we'll split mask points. We'll bring this in. And then we will try this. So, kind of like, here's an ugly area. See, it's doing it, but it's still not messing with the overlap. But I think, to piggyback off what you said, what could be good, I'll be able to undo this, is instead of just doing that, is going in and dynameshing as well. And then going in some of the choice areas. Is this not what you're thinking? Is it something else? That's okay. I don't know if you have me on, if you've got me on Instagram at all, Adam, but if you do, because I know there's another Adam that I think I confused you for at some point. But if you do, if you like figure it out, see, I meant you apply Sculptris Pro to the, oh, okay. No, okay. No, I see what you're talking about now. That's really smart. Okay. Hold on. Hold up. You have come up with something very cool. And actually, I don't even think we need a Sculptris Pro. We'll still probably have to break it down into different polygroups just to keep the flowers down, but I see what you're talking about. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? All right, we got a good amount of time until our next ad break still too, so that's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm still going to, here I'm going to use this one. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to divide this up. Oh. There we go. I'm going to divide it up even a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to decimate it. Oh, that's too even. That's the bummer. So yeah, no, I'm gonna go and then deal with what you were talking about. I thought I could get a more uneven look to it, so. That's some interesting effects going on because it's like, because the Sculptris Pro, because at the cursor size that I have, it's kind of mimicking the existing geometry. So it's like doing it to some spots. Not others. There we go. Okay. I don't really use Instagram. That's fine. Not a biggie. Instagram is where I primarily do most of my updating on stuff. I also share other work that I've done there because as much as I like Frieren, I've been doing a lot of Frieren. And I don't want people to get too bored. So that's just where I share some more content, different figures I've worked on, different promotional statues, like life-size stuff. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna hide the lower half. Now I'm gonna go in and paint some groups. I'm going to hide the flowers that I've already made. Very interesting idea, by the way. How's the odious stuff coming? Finished up? No, no, no. Unfortunately, with that, Wade has been very busy, and so he's been dealing with some various different obstacles, and because of that, he hasn't been able to send me some stuff. I am still very close to finishing the werewolf, but have not because I've also been busy and had a lot of stuff on my plate. But that's one of those things where it's like, that's not going to take too long to crack into once it's like crunch time. So I've been kind of trying to focus on other things. But yeah, it's not complete yet because life has gotten in the way, as it does from time to time. But good question. Thanks for asking. Yeah, unfortunately not, but that's okay. This is a very interesting solution, and I like it very much. So thank you for suggesting. Don't want to do that. Excuse me. No, yeah, I think it will. And what we're going to discover probably is that it will effectively do what we want it to do, but not exactly how we expect. So what we're going to end up doing is figuring out how to troubleshoot the things that don't necessarily work. But I think it will solve a lot of problems that I was kind of worried about. And save quite a bit of time. And also keep this idea in my back pocket too. And this is also the fun of like experimenting and stuff. I like to try different things and apply techniques of other stuff and combine them in different ways, which I'm sure you do as well. So there we go. Okay, are we ready to see how this is gonna work? Cool. Again, thanks for sticking around. Josh and Adam, you guys have been my rocks tonight. Thanks for the lurkers who are adding to my numbers. And hopefully you guys are having a good time too. Hey, what's going on, JD? Good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in. How have you been? Have you been lurking, or did you just get here? What's the skinny, dude? I've just been rapping with Adam and Josh all night. Here, I'll kind of show you real quick kind of the progress. So I've been adding these flowers and trying to figure out good ways to randomize, but Adam, who is also a user of ZBrush, through watching, came up with a pretty good possible solution. Let's see, just got here, meant to stop in last week, but you already had ended. Oh, well, the thought that counts. I always appreciate that. So I'm glad you're here now. Very glad. Okay, so the problem I'm already seeing is just this is too dense. Too dense for sure, but never fear. Because I think now that we have this kind of randomized geo, now I think we can go back in and decimate to get a lower poly count with this level of randomization and keep the grouping, I think. So let's see what we can do. Thank you again, Adam, for the suggestion. Like, even if we don't do this, we can still redo with the Sculptress brush. Just do it again. Let's see. All right, let's drop this down to like 2.5. Preprocess. Decimate. All right, no, that's not good. Okay, can we keep polygroups? Let's see. Keep UVs, freeze, borders. Use and keep poly paint. Have an idea. Go to the polygroup menu. I don't see anything about coloring. Maybe I go to poly paint menu. Poly paint from polygroups. There we go. Aha. Does Tessimate keep groups? I don't know. That's a good question. We'll try that next. But use and keep poly paint. Now I've painted with the groups, so that should help do that. And I'm able to use and keep poly paint, and it will decimate based off of that. So let's decimate current. No. Let me pre-process again. Decimate current. Okay, it's too low, is what it's telling me. So let's try 5. Okay, it's getting there. Let me divide and try like 20,000. Nope, that's still too dense. This is at about 6K. So let's see if I can decimate at 6K and see what it does. That's a little better. Okay. Nope. don't do that. Oh, now, haha, now I had to do the opposite. So now we have to polygroup by polypaint. Let's turn off the paint. It's not great, but we'll try this. So we'll start. Still a little dense in some of these areas. See, it's cool if you want variation in density. Yeah, no, I like that for like some of this stuff here, but right now it's like it's way too dense on like the rim. So I think what I'm gonna do is bring that polygroup and it might be okay in the long run, because once we start randomizing, it might solve some of those problems. Yeah. Okay. 1 to 1. Split. Masked. Go back to Nano Mesh. Do the randomizer. Yeah. Maybe you just need a bigger brush with the smooth in Sculptress Pro. I think it's a fine line, because I kind of had the bigger brush and I felt like it was a little too much and I was losing the shape of the sphere, and also it wasn't like I didn't like the grouping that I was getting. That's why I did the decimation after, which that's getting the grouping that I want. So actually I think we're good. I just needed to figure out more what was going on at the rim there. So no, I think I again, I appreciate the suggestion, because I think it got me where I want to go ultimately. I still don't know if I want to do the flowers this size, maybe a little bit bigger. So I might still toy around with the flower size. Let's see. But yeah, ultimately I think this is gonna help, because it is like the groupings are definitely better than before, just because of the randomization of the polys, since it's not so uniform. But there's still some of the Nano Mesh problems are just kind of like inherent and still gonna need to be worked through. But yeah, it is what it is, you know? But no, I appreciate the suggestion because it's something that did not cross my mind, and I do like this. I still might mess with it in a different way. And try to discover some new things, but definitely I think these are better results than what I was getting before for a little less work, or at least similar enough, slightly better, and will take a little less time. I might even rework the flower a little bit because I'm thinking the petal, its thickness, it's a little too thin. So I might make an adjustment there too. I don't know if you can hear my clicking. I have my new fidget. I got these, they're stim mags. They help me concentrate and contemplate. But no, yeah, this was a really good thing to bring up, and it's helped a lot. So thank you. It's giving me things to ponder and helping me figure out ways to go. See, we lost Josh, we lost Wormy. Either that or Streamlabs is telling me different things. I think that's actually what I'm going to do next, because I do like how this is going, and I can still mess with the groups a little bit here to make them a little bit smaller and more manageable. I'm here just watching on TV. Ah, okay. So yeah, here I'll tell you a funny thing with Twitch. So, and I don't know if it's a Streamlabs thing or if it's a Twitch thing, but I can kind of see who's in and who's out here and there when I click over. Actually, let's see if I can do it here too. I can't do it here. But yeah, I can kind of see like who is watching, and sometimes it says people aren't there, but they are, and it's a kind of it's a funny thing. It's really weird. So it's nice that you're still here. I appreciate it, Leslie. I watch TV. When I navigate away on my phone, it disconnects me. Kind of annoying. Yeah, that is annoying. Twitch is weird. I mean, I like it. I'm glad I'm here. Ad break's about to start for those of you that are not subbed, so please stick through. I appreciate you. But yeah, so watching on TV and chatting on phone. Yeah, that's. I mean, when I can, I do that. Actually, I kind of do the opposite. Oftentimes, like I'll, depending on what's going on, I don't want the screen completely taken up, so I'll watch on my phone, and then I'll chat on my desktop, because then I can kind of like swipe back and forth from whatever I'm doing on one screen back over, so it doesn't like dominate, but I can still like watch the whole time, or at least like have it visually in my eye line. Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm gonna do next. So where is it? Here we go. So what I'm gonna do here is I wanna make this thing thicker. All right, ad break has started. So I'm going to use the masking brush. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit of break while the ad break is starting, because people that want to probably see this or might find it interesting aren't all subbed. So thank you again, Josh, for being a sub and for gifting subs. And I'm happy that you got gifted a sub, Adam, so you can hang out a little bit during the 3-minute ad break. And I'll have some water. And then after this, we'll do like a really quick like altering of the flower, which actually I think I can do in Nano Mesh. No, but I think I want to do it. Well, let's see. We'll try something. Because there is a cool feature in Nano Mesh where you can like edit the mesh. Uh-oh. Didn't want to do that. But yeah, we'll wait till everyone gets back. We'll do this real quick. Edit mesh. Yeah. And turn goes back. So there we go. So yeah, we can. It's pretty cool. We can do an edit mesh mid apply, and my question will be, will it still hold the next grouping I work on? 1 minute to go. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back from the ad break. Thanks for those of you that stuck it through. I do have a fun experiment. I talked a little bit during the ad break with my homies that are subbed. And so what's going to go on is I do want some thickness to these flowers. So I'm going to, you can actually edit the mesh that you're working on while you're using it rather than going in and like making another brush. So I click on this and I'm going to do this. No, I do not want cheap viewers. That is a horrible thing. Ban you. I want awesome, genuine viewers. And I'm very happy with the viewers that I have. If I haven't said that enough, thank you again, everyone who's here, everyone who pops in even for a little bit. I appreciate you. Okay. So I'm going to do a back face mask. And what that means is when I turn on back face masking, when I use the masking brush, it only masks what's in front. There's some stuff that might get masked here because of the direction of the actual polygons, because it's basically front facing polygons, so some of these might be curved just enough to be counted as like a front facing polygon, but for the most part it just gets anything that's facing front. And because of that, now what I will do is flip the mask. drag this out. Also flatten a little bit. So this thickens up the flower, and that'll be really helpful in the end when it comes to printing. All right, so now that's done. And now that change has been applied to these flowers, which is super cool. Now it hasn't been applied to these flowers. So this I would have to redo, but that's okay. Again, as you can see, like this has all been like really quick and easy to kind of like redo over and over again. And since this is all very experimental, sure, we've been spending about 2 hours to figure this out, but it's all good problem solving that has happened as we've gone through and discovered. And again, thank you, helpful to have other people here to kind of bounce off of. And with that, once kind of all the things are worked out, that's when it's really easy and quick to just kind of jump through, get things done. So I'm going to delete these because I don't want those anymore. I do want these for now. Then I'll split this. And yeah, there we go. So right now, I'm going to mess with the groupings here. Oh, and it auto saves again. Yeah, so I'm gonna make, again, smaller groups just so I can like kind of manage this a little bit better, so I don't have a ton of flowers on at any given time as I'm trying to like sort them out and randomize them. But yeah, looks like Pangea. Yeah, it does. Nice observation, Mr. Brown. Oh, there we go. So yeah, this has been a really fun kind of night of experimentation and figuring this out. It was last week, I had forgotten to look into it and I was really busy, so I didn't really get into figuring out the Nano Mesh thing like I wanted to, but we had plenty to do still on the model, so it wasn't too bad. But tonight I wanted to make sure that we like figured this out, so I looked into it a little bit just to remind myself how to make the brush itself. And I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure exactly how easy it would be or what roadblocks we would run into. But I think this has been a very successful evening, and very much in part to y'all for being here and giving me folks to chat to, as well as helping with some problem solving. So big ups to Adam V 3D for sure tonight, because you have been awesome help. I appreciate you a lot. And right now, what I think I want to do is I want to try to, now that we've kind of got all our ducks in a row, let's see how quickly we can do this. Okay, so this is the older mesh. So I do need to make the adjustment. I think here, is this? Yeah, this one. So we'll just do this real quick and we'll create another one, which is totally fine. Doesn't take that long. And you're on the other side of the pond, right, Adam? I think that's what we discovered last time. Well, us, I mean, you didn't have to discover it, you already know. But what is a late night, even later for Josh, is, oh. There we go. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. How are we doing? Can you still hear me fine? But yeah, we discovered last time that that's where you are. And then Josh and I are in the States, but he's more easterly, and I'm on the the west side of the United States. Okay, here we go. Doop. All right, there we go. So that's that thicker flour that we want. And then we will make, once again, first we create our, oh, no, don't want to do it off of that. Here we go. Create an insert mesh, new, create nano mesh. And here we go. Let's see how fast we can crack through. All right. The flour's there. So polygroup island, so that way it's all on our polygroup. That is definitely our thicker flour, so that's good. Get to the Nano Mesh menu. Start randomizing. Try not to make it too dense. Watch them dance around a bit. There we go. And then wash, rinse, and repeat. down. Sorry if I'm a little quiet now. I'm trying to lock in just a little bit. But if you still want to chat or have questions or suggestions, oh, here we go. No, not you. That one. Feel free. It's been a good night. I'll probably stop in a couple minutes. Actually, I'll stop now. I was going to try to cook through, but we're already getting to like the 2.5 hour mark. Split masked points. And yeah. Honestly, I am very much liking this solution. So yeah, again, thank you, Adam. That was a really smart idea you had as far as randomizing the polygons on the surface that I am building off of as well. Super great idea. And I'm already liking a lot more how that's looking. And it might lead me to, instead of completely covering the surface with flowers, doing a little bit of a grass texture underneath it too, so that way I don't have to worry about getting too crazy. Yeah, glad it's working for you. Can't wait to see it finish. Me too, man. It's going a little bit longer than I had thought, because I had an idea for the base in my brain, but it's been taking a little bit more to pull it out of the brain. But I think in general, I'm very happy with how things are going. And I think we're on the home stretch. We're getting to the finish line. And then we get into engineering, which is, I think, going to be exciting for a lot of folks. And also, that's going to be frustrating as well, because that's going to take some time too. But yeah, so let's see. Here she is. We got some flowers going. Let's get closer to. There we go. So there we go. Yeah, I like how that's looking. What do you guys think? Hope you guys like it, especially you, Adam, because you have been very, very helpful. Josh, thank you for hanging out. JD, thank you for popping in and being here for the last bit. I'm gonna go. Let me save what I've done so far, because I have not saved at all tonight. It's just been the autosaves helping me. There we go. She's locked in. We'll go full screen. Thank you, everyone who came out tonight, or came in tonight, I guess is the better way to say it. I appreciate you coming to see what I'm working on and help me work through stuff. For those of you that'll probably see this on YouTube, thanks for watching. I appreciate you as well as I try to figure out that space. I will be, in the future, doing at least one stream within the month on Mondays, I think, instead of Saturdays. Haven't figured out when that's going to be yet. It might be at the beginning of next month. So we'll figure that out together, and maybe that'll be a little bit better for some folks too, as we kind of ebb and flow and figure out the best streaming schedule that works for you guys that watch and me that has to do it, and my family as well. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, thanks again for watching. My name is Kevin. Go by KGart. You can find me on Instagram. Obviously, you're here, or you're on YouTube. KGart82 on all platforms. And yeah, I think that's where we're gonna leave it. So have a good night, have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.